I am.
Okay. Ask just about anyone you know. They agree that gay people should have equal rights when it comes to jobs, housing, government benefits, and equal protection of the law. Then why is it when it comes to marriage, equality stops dead in its tracks? According to Scott Bidstrup, author of Gay Marriage, The Arguments and Motives, more than half of all people in the United States oppose gay marriage, even though 3/4 are otherwise supportive of gay rights. This means that many of the same people who are passionately in favor of gay rights oppose gays on this one issue. I'll be talking about controversial Proposition 8. According to Wikipedia, it was a California ballot proposition that changed the state constitution to restrict the definition of marriage to a union between a man and a woman and eliminated the right of same-sex couples to marry. I'm sure that all of us know someone that is gay, and we don't treat them any differently than anyone else. I wonder how you would feel if society looked down upon your sexual preference and banned you from marriage. What if only homosexuals were allowed to marry? That leaves the rest of us stripped of our most basic, inalienable rights. I'll be discussing 3 main points on the issue: who voted and why, what the Bible says, and why it is wrong. So who voted what? According to Wikipedia, with a 73% voter turnout this year, 52% voted yes, while the remaining 48% voted no. Did you know that out of the 1/5 of Californians that do support Bush, 86% of them voted yes on 8? Weekly churchgoers make up nearly 1/4 of voters, and 84% of them voted yes. People who voted yes on Prop 8 feared that the change to the Constitution would require changes to school curriculum and church tax benefits. Did they think about the people that this proposition would affect besides themselves? They are so worried about their own children and what is being taught in school that they chose to overlook the rights of others. Those who voted no thought that eliminating rights of Californians and mandating that one group be treated differently is unfair and wrong, and it is. According to the Bible, Genesis 2:18, verses 12 through 24, after God took Adam's rib and made a woman out of it, it is stated that a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh. Nowhere does it say that one cannot be in a same-sex marriage or that it is wrong. It is how people interpret the Bible that is what makes controversy. According to Mary Fairchild, the heart of God's design for marriage is intimacy and companionship. Any 2 people can experience intimacy and companionship, same-sex or not. And what about separation of church and state? A statewide or federal decision should be made with no prejudgment defined by religion, even if society deems it necessary. It seems to me that if the straight community cannot show a compelling reason to deny the right of same-sex marriage, then it shouldn't be denied. I don't believe that church tax benefits and school curriculum are very compelling, at least not compelling enough to strip rights from Californians. So why is it wrong? Once again, marriage is about intimacy and companionship, and every citizen should have the right to experience it. As far as curriculum goes, in elementary school one learns about the Constitution, and will then have to learn about marriage. But I believe it's the parents' responsibility to teach their children societal values and morals, not the schools. If parents are really worried about what their children are being taught, maybe they should attend a private school. My little sister goes to a Christian school where gay marriage is frowned upon and never brought up. She said she would vote yes or no on 8 too. People who believe that homosexuals should have equal rights, but then disagree when it comes to marriage, are defining hypocrisy. How many of you knew someone in high school who you thought was gay, but they never admitted it? Anyone? Yeah, you all know them. Did you guys make fun of them? Did people at school make fun of them? Yeah, they got harassed. My cousin Bart was constantly being harassed at school because he was a figure skater. When he was 16, he chose to take his own life. After his death, we found out that, in fact, he was gay. If people at school knew the outcome of their insults, do you think they would have said anything? Would you? Ultimately, I've explained who voted what the Bible says, and why Prop 8 is wrong. I believe that we did the wrong thing as Californians by passing Proposition 8. It is unfair and wrong, and as a society, we claim to believe in equality for all. But there are always exceptions, and let's face it, life's not fair, is it?
Super early to, teenage boy.
Okay, I thought that you set up the topic pretty clearly. You've got a good structural setup that's going on. You need some criteria that talks about what is fair or right or just, because you're basically making a claim of value here that the actions of supporting Proposition 8 were unjust or unfair. You make assumptions about what rights are, and you need to tell us what is the criteria about those rights. For instance, where did the right to marry come from? How is it determined? How did homosexuals gain the right to marry in the state of California? That's all background information on the issue that might be relevant to our decision about how we feel about your position, but you don't develop any of that, and it's, you know, you've got your criteria that you haven't justified, and now you're using the criteria to render a decision on this issue. And I think you need to justify your criteria first. Convince people that you see it the right way, not I see it this way and that's what's right, and judge by that. You need to convince people to share your criteria also. I do think you get a little mixed in the last third of the speech, bouncing between gay marriage and Prop 8 and other issues relating to homosexuality, the persecution of homosexuals, or deriding them or making fun of them, or any of those kinds of things, and the horrible thing that happens to your cousin. Those things are certainly things that, like you said, two-thirds or 75% of the country would feel that those things were wrong to do, and that's not the issue that you started talking about. So I think you want to stick to examples that illustrate the point that you're making instead of getting off topic. This is a good example of one of those deductive principles that we were talking about. Here's the generalization, here's the particular case, but you're applying the generalization to a case that doesn't fit into that particular category, and I think that that's a little problematic. The presentation, I think, is nice. You've got a good vocal enthusiasm. You are generally solid with your eye contact with the audience. The time is a little underdeveloped. It's 4 minutes and 49 seconds. So you have more than half as, you've used basically less than half the time. So you have twice as much time to develop this argument. And there are lots of things to talk about, comparisons that could be made about rights, for instance, arguments about legal principles. You throw in some of the terminology, but I don't think that you fight the good fight with the terminology. You're just kind of using it as a label. And it's one of those things where a lot of arguments sometimes get funneled down to bumper sticker type slogans, but we need the concept behind them discussed. We need to have the proof developed so that we understand why we're supporting those slogans, and that's what I think what's missing from the speech. All right, thank you.